Hi everyone, it's Kathy from To Dye House. Today is Saturday, July 10th. It's been a couple months since I've done a video. I've been wanting to, but work and life and things. But I want to say, if you're new to my channel, this is a channel about cross stitch. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a subscriber and returning, welcome back. Like I said, I've been really busy. I haven't done a video in a couple months. But I've really been wanting to, but because I've been so busy, I haven't gotten a lot of stitching in. So hopefully, and I say this every time when I blow it out of the water, every time, hopefully this won't be too terribly long. I have some finishes to show you. I have some whips, not a lot of progress, but a little bit. A few pieces of haul. Some stitchy kindness, which is really neat. And there's going to be a giveaway at the end of the video. First things first, just a couple of things that I wanted to mention. I first wanted to acknowledge the passing of Barb Adams. I know that most likely you've all heard about Barb from Blackbird Designs passing by now. For me, I'm sad. I'm very sad because I really love Blackbird Designs, and but that sadness is tempered with the thought that she left such a beautiful legacy, and that her designs and pieces are on thousands and thousands of walls all over the world, and her designs. Both her and Alma design things that bring and will continue to bring joy and happiness to many, many people for years and years to come. So while her work here is done, her legacy will continue on through the stitching community and the quilting community, and I'm just grateful that she shared all her beautiful talents with us. But I do want to extend my sincere sympathies and condolences to her family and her friends, and to Alma as well. That was quite a surprise, a shock to me. I didn't know she was ill. But so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Barb, wherever you may be in the ethers. Thank you for sharing all of your talents with us, and I will continue to stitch all the blackbirds and buy them as well. The other thing, and this is kind of an order of business thing that I just wanted to address right at the top, is that I recognize that there are commercials, ads on my videos. I do not monetize my channel. So that is a YouTube thing. I've heard other YouTubers saying it too, that people who have not monetized are now seeing ads pop up on their videos. There's nothing I can do about it. I wish I could. But I will say, click the skip ad. Because after like 5 seconds or whatever, I think the skip ad will come up in the lower right hand corner. So just click on it and right into the video you go. Okay, so the first FFO I have is, last video I showed you that I was working on. This was part of the Silver Needle Circle of Friends club, and I'd gotten this kit. This was one of the kits from last year. It's the little wren, and I saw somebody, I think on Instagram, maybe on YouTube, finishing it into a drum, and I did that as well. So it's just it's a tall, skinny drum. It's like smaller than a soda can. But yeah, so I just with the back, followed Vanna's trusted instructions, and Vanna from the Twisted Stitcher, I'll link her below, trusted instructions, and finished that off. And there's the top and the little bird nest charm that came with it. So I used the fabric, I think it was intended to be a pillow, but I used the fabric that came with it just to do the top and the bottom. So that's an FFO. And then this was a start, a finish, and an FFO. Who knew? But let me tell you, typical Kathy fashion. It's like, oh crap, do I need to do this again? This was the Brenda Gervais Happy Birthday America. The bird with the pom-pom drum. I got the entire kit. with this beautiful, it's kind of like a faux cross stitch fabric. I got the finishing kit. I started it. I finished it. Fully finished it. So the finishing kit came with the pom-pom trim. I think, I'm not sure, but I think all the charts come with this faux fabric. But to get the additional pom-pom trim and the cake stand, that's an additional. I think that's how it worked. In any event, started, finished. I love this little bird. And then I saw somebody on, I think it was on Facebook, who recharted that to be a bald eagle, and it is beautiful. So, yeah, but I love that little bird. And I would also like to point out, in the instructions it talks about how to make this bow, because anytime I've ever had anything like that, I just tied the DMC on, and eventually it would kind of, you know, not break down, but the strands would separate, you know, so you're always constant. Wax keeps them together and makes them a little more moldable. Moldable. That's the word. So yeah, start and finish. One of the things is that I did the cake stand and I made a mistake because this sits on the cake stand, right? And I have it in my little tier tray. I put the top on the candlestick wrong. It's supposed to be the candlestick goes on the inside of the lid so that the top is level and the cake sits on the top. But for some reason I had it in my head that this cake would fit down inside the cake stand. It doesn't, nor should it, because it's supposed to be sitting on top of the lid, not. I feel like I need to buy another finishing set so I can flip it. I said to Darren, maybe I can get that candlestick off and flip it around. He's like, you're going to destroy it. So maybe I'll just leave it. I don't know. Happy birthday, America, with thy needle, Brenda DeRay. Okay. Next, those are my finishes, fully finishes. Oh, these are old stitches, but I finally fully finished them. All right, so I think I stitched these like in 2002, 2003, and they've been sitting, waiting for me to get my act together. Patient little pieces that they are, I finally did, and I fully finished them. They are Lizzie Kate boxer kits. I don't know if they're still available. The charts might still be available on 123 Stitch since they now have all of the rights to Lizzie Kate. But yeah, I finished all 4 of these. They were sitting waiting for something to happen, and here they are. So this is the winter boxer. This is the spring boxer. Isn't that cute? And I just put like a little rickrack around it. This is the summer boxer. And that one I did a little, I don't know, found something in my stash. And this is, you know me, July 5th starts autumn for me. This is my autumn boxer. So what I have, and I'm going to change this, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I pointed this out anytime in a prior video, but I have this little mini tobacco basket that has this little thing in the side, right? And I thought, oh, they'll be cute in there. Right, and that's kind of what I'm doing with them now, is just sitting them in there and watching them fall out. So I sit them in there. It's got a little easel on the back, but I wish the easel were longer so it would sit straight up, because right now it just kind of tilts this way. So I just kind of have this leaning up against a wall with the thing. But it needs a little something extra, don't you think? Like a bow, button. Do you remember the movie Working Girl with Melanie Griffith and Joan Cusack as her friend, and they're trying on dresses, and she has this $5,000 dress, and Joan Cusack's character goes, "It needs a bow or something." I always think of that when I'm like, yeah, it needs a bow or something. Silly me. So anyway, so those are they're very old finishes, but they're brand new FFOs. Cute, right? So if you have any suggestions as to how I might zhuzh those up a little bit, let me know. Okay. This is also an FO. It's not fully finished yet, but last video I told you I was getting really close, and I'm there. So this is After the Roses by Ink Circles. Barb from Lost and Floss and I did a stitch along, or doing a stitch along. I don't know if she's done yet. I haven't seen her posted on Instagram in a while. So I finished mine, and I did this on a Silk Weaver Rue Green. One thing I wanted to point out, there are two Rue Greens out there. There's a Zweigert Rue Green and one that Silk Weaver dyes themselves. And I'm using the Silk Weaver version. It's not the Rue Green right off the bolt from Zweigert. So that is Ink Circles After the Roses. It's really pretty, right? But boy, once I got to that final quadrant, I was, like most things, I think when you get toward the end, you're like, you just get on a mission. So that's that. Okay. I'll save that to do with haul. So, one more finish. And it's stitchy related, but it's not cross stitch. I started making project rolls. But I followed Vana, the Twisted Stitcher, her instructions on how to make a project roll. Here it is. You can see how many projects I have in there because the roll won't close. So I need to make more rolls so I can distribute my projects evenly. But essentially, it rolls. You roll your finished projects in there. Watch them fall out. So that it keeps them from getting all creased and wrinkly and stuff. Now, I have so many in here that they're falling out. It's probably, let me just take these out for a minute. I can show you the roll itself. So this is the project roll I made. I just used this kind of toile floral. And I followed Vana's instructions right to the T, even down to the crosshatch quilting. One thing I noticed when she did her video, the roll that she shows at the beginning had a piece of batting in it. And then the finished one, I don't know if she put that in or not. I did, because I thought it's a good idea to put it in to keep your pieces from sliding around inside. Of course, if you only have 1 or 2 pieces. If you have, 20, like I just did, they're going to slide. So anyway, you put your piece in. Let's do a demo. You put your piece in. There's a little crease where the rubber meets the road, where the roll meets the fabric. So it holds your piece up in there, and then you just boop, 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 boop. Roll that bad boy up, tie it with the ribbon, and it keeps it from being all creasy, which is great. Also, this could be considered haul, I suppose. Ta-da! The ribbon. I think I've told you before about my spools and things that I have, right? So, I live near a ribbon factory it's like a ribbon warehouse. And I didn't have ribbon for my rolls, so I've made a couple of these now. I need to make more. So I went up there one day and binge shopped ribbon. So that's that. But yeah, I'm like, I started going through my stuff and pulling things out, and I'm like, all right, when I was like, these have been sitting around for 18 years waiting to be, and I was like, that's unacceptable. I'm back. All right, a couple other things that I had fully finished this. I took it apart, and I need to refinish this onto something else. it's on sticky board right now, and I don't want to try and separate from the sticky board. So I think I'm just going to cut out a piece of mat board and throw some fabric on it, stick that on top. So it's a refinish. Okay. Oh, and this is, it's not a finish, but it's kind of like in a, I got this done category. My friend Helen in my stitching group, this makes her cringe. I buy Amish cedar chips from an Amish farm or Amish woodworking company, but I get them off of Amazon. And when I get them, they're in pretty large, you know, they're pretty large shavings, right? So when you need to stuff things with sawdust, you need it nice and refined. So I take my Vitamix, which has a milling attachment, and I run it through the milling attachment to get this beautiful fine sawdust to stuff pillows and drums and things with, right? Helen's like, that beautiful Vitamix. What? It's got the power. It mills it down like, and now I have 2.5 bags of sawdust, right? So, that's the job, man. Now, that said, I bought a couple of these. You've probably seen them on other videos. They're the floss winders. So I have short ones and I got a couple of longer ones. They're from RNR, the letter N, not R and the ampersand. RNR Woodworks KY for Kentucky. You wind your floss around. I usually start in the middle. Wind your floss around like your DMC skein, off the skein. Cut it, and then you have equal lengths of DMC floss, right? So I ordered a couple of these, and I have one down by my stitching spot. I have one in here. I threw one in my to-go bag for when retreats start back up again, which should be soon. And they were taking orders on Facebook and Instagram, but have since they started a website. So they now have a website. So I will link that below as well. On their website, they have sawdust for like $5 a bag. So now, Helen, you can be relieved because I believe that from going forward, I will not be milling my own. I will be buying their sawdust. Because by the time I get it, buy it, mill it, I could have spent the $5 per bag, gotten 3 or 4 bags. So I mentioned earlier that Barb Adams passed away. Barb Adams, if you happen to see her obituary online, was a very big Beatles fan and probably was the mind behind the Blackbirds Beatles series, Magical Mystery Tour series. And I've done a couple of those pieces. I'm actually getting ready to start Long and Winding Road. In any event, I'm wearing my Peace and Love, Life is Good shirt, right? And it is signed, well, not, he didn't sign it, but they printed his signature, Ringo Starr, right? Who turned 81 this week. So happy birthday, Ringo. Ringo and George were my favorites. I always loved Paul and John, but Ringo and George, I think because they were a little step back from the spotlight, always fascinated me more. I wanted to know more about them. George, I think, was really my favorite. So, this is like tangent haul, but I thought I would show you because I got Beatles sunglasses. Not Beatles, John Lennon sunglasses, right? But they're very groovy. Don't you think? I love them. The other thing, while I'm on a tangent, I might as well just stay there. You may be saying, what's going on with all this? I have decided to grow my hair out and try and keep the curl intact because when I grow my hair out, when it's shorter, I tend to like it straight. But as I've been using the round brush and pulling on it, I think I'm breaking the curl pattern. So now I am growing it out. So my next few videos, just word of warning, there's going to be some funky looking hair. That's all I got to say. But once it gets longer, I love it when it's curly and long. So I'm trying to keep the curls intact. Also, complete tangent on a tangent. I've been watching videos on how to like manage your curls and keep them intact and keep them healthy, and they're not looking, that's looking whack. Do you remember in the 80s, the crunchy curls? Like you get a perm and you put gel in it and the crunchy curls? If you're a curly girl and you get crunchy curls, never knew this would work. You can scrunch out the crunch. I was shocked when I saw this on a video, and it works. So I put the mousse, the gel, all the junk in my hair, and I scrunch and I let it dry, and it gets this like it gets crunchy. And then I take a little bit of like hair serum, like smoothing serum, and rub it in my hands and scrunch it in, and it just takes the crunch out and makes your curls nice and soft. Isn't that crazy? And I can't figure out how it does it without making my hair go, but it does. Okay, back on track. All right, let's go to whips. This is not a, oh, no. Oh, yes. Okay. Hello. It's been a while. Can you tell? This is not a cross-stitch piece, but it is a punch needle piece that I've been working on. And it is by Briar Cottage Studio. It's called Ribbit. This is the only frog allowed in my house. So that is Ribbit. And the other night after I got done working, I was really tired. And Darren said to me, why don't you do punch needle instead if you're really tired? Because my eyes were like practically closing. And sure enough, I was like, I got a little handwork time in, a little decompression time in. And this is where I'm at. Let's remove the big string. Here we go. So it's a little witchy frog. So that is the front of it. That is where the pile is, right? And then it's funny, like on this, I'm like, I don't mind showing my back. On my cross stitch, I never would. Well, unless I do. That's the back of it. So isn't that wild how like I love it. So yeah, so I started working on that again. It's good. Like I love my needlework time, but like my eyes are tired. I'm really like, I just don't want to put a bunch of stitches in and then have to spend time taking them out, because that really irritates me. Having to undo things really irritates me, as it does most people, I think. Okay, next whip. I mentioned in my prior video that my friend Mo loaned me her chart. Now, I have made a working copy of this because I don't want it to get all schmutzy. And we all know that schmutz happens. So it is the Prairie Moon, Thine is the Trick and the Treat. She has loaned me her copy. Like I said, I did make a working copy. I am stitching this with one thread over 2 on 40 count Christmas in Williamsburg fabric. I have not pressed my whips. I pressed my finishes, not my whips. And this is where I am at. So I just have to finish this off and then I'll have a page done. I have like just a little bit to do up here. Then that page will be done. Screams on me. It's just, oh, love, 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 love. It's a pretty accurate representation. Love it. And then, so that is, where am I on that? This is, still working on this, and was on the 4th of July. This is Blackbird Designs, Justice for All. It's an oldie. And this is where I am at on this one. So since the last time I finished the eagle and the branch, I got in the words justice for all. I think the last time I mentioned that I had made a mistake. I did end up going back and fixing that because it wasn't too big of a path back. Like, you know, it was just, I had just to undo this a little bit. But yeah. And now this has even more meaning to me. Justice for all, Blackbird Design. Summer Stitch Camp. If you watch, do I have it written down? Her name is Sherry. Colorado Cross Stitcher, I think is her channel. I'll link it below. She started Stitch Camp. And because at the beginning of June, I was eternally hopeful and optimistic, I was like, I can do this. Like, my job just exploded, and then I had no time. And so I am equating myself now to the camper who gets covered in poison ivy and has to be sent home and cannot stay for camp. Sherry. That's what happened to me, Sherry. But that doesn't mean that I won't be starting something in July to try and stay with Stitch Camp. But this was my June project. So it is Plum Street Sampler. Always remember. And it's the poppies. That house. Can you see the Quaker design in the house and the Quaker design in the grass? So, here is my very sad, I had to restart it twice, I think. I was just struggling with the grass. So I started it there. What am I stitching this on? I am stitching this on a 36 count Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim. So, but I do love this fabric, and I had it in my stash, so I love it because it's very close to what's on the cover. Here I went to Needleworker's Delight, which is my LNS, and picked up flosses for it, over dyes. So here is the color palette for it. How do people do this and so elegantly? And I'm like, the colors are incredible. Look at them. Oh, just love it. So I did some substitutions. I wrote them all down. I took the floss list on my library cards, crossed out what I was not going to use that was called for, and wrote in what I picked. Here's a more comprehensive working book. I showed you Prairie Moon, I showed you Blackbird. This is on, we're doing our little stitching group is doing another bingo challenge. I'm not faring very well. I haven't gotten a lot of numbers, but I get an occasional hit. So what I did was, it's in the shape of a W on the bingo board. So it's both the B and the O all the way down, and then whatever space is in between. The free space is the middle of the W, and then there's like a space on either side. So when I have a new start, which I could pick anything that I'm feeling at the time, and the other is Charlotte Mills 1844 by Fox and Rabbit, which is now back to being my Sunday stitch. I have not stitched on it recently, but starting tomorrow, it's back into the Sunday rotation. So I did my B, my column of B is Lila's Studio Halloween Quaker. And I did get a little more in. So that is where I'm at with Halloween Quaker. And I am stitching that on a, it's called Illusion. What is it? Silk Weaver 40 count Illusion. So I am doing 1/2 on 40 count for this one. And I think I started this in 2018. So I think this is going to bump up in the ranks of the rotation. And these are just my palettes. Now, remind me to tell you about crisscross stitch and spooky summer stitching. And you're saying, I can't remind you. But I will, well, I will talk about Chris later. But he's one of the newer Flosstubers that I've been watching. And he is doing spooky summer stitching as a hashtag on Instagram. I'll put that all. So now you don't have to remind me. Do you like how I give you homework to do and I do Flosstube? What's up with that? Okay, and then the only other thing is, I know it's Christmas in July. For me, July 5th, like I said earlier, July 5th starts autumn for me. Like, I just want to do all autumn right through at least the end of October, if not well into November. Although I understand now that, hey, maybe doing Christmas stuff now will save me from the rush later on. But one of the things that I started to do, I worked on this a while back, is Country Cottage Needleworks Peppermint Lane. I just thought those little pink houses, John Cougar Mellencamp, or is it John Cougar? John Cougar Mellencamp. I thought those little pink houses were just darling, and I saw somebody else stitching it, and I really loved it. Country Cottage Needleworks, Peppermint Lane. And so I did start it. Look at the Groovy dot. Another. I need to wear my sunglasses all the way through the video, I think. I have this, I think this was Vicky. Stitch and Button. Vicky. I think this was one of the bags she made that I ordered. Pretty sure. Isn't it cute though? Love it. And this is where I'm at. So this is going to be my one and only Christmas in July stitch, because I would rather stitch Halloween and autumn, because that's my jam. Again, not pressed, but this is where I'm at. So I'm going to be working on this a little more in July. Hopefully to get it done by the end of the month. It's cute. It's an easy stitch. It's just that I have so many other things going on. It doesn't get the love it deserves. I have no idea. I think I picked a random scrap of fabric for that one. Stitchy Kindness. Talk about going to your mailbox and getting something completely out of the blue, unexpected. And I don't know what it is about vibes in the universe, but it always comes at a time where you need a pick-me-up, where you need just something pure happy. One of my viewers, and now I consider a friend that I've just never met in person, but a friend nonetheless, made this for me and sent it to me. She lives out of country and was in country visiting and mailed it while she was here, so it didn't cost her a fortune to post it, which was smart. But she made me, it's the Blackbird design. I can't remember the name of the chart. She made me that. This was her first Biscorno. Look at this. And sent it off to me. So, thank you, Rebecca. It's on 40 count. Can you see? Look at how dainty your stitches are. This is the bottom of the Biscorno. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my god, and it's her first one. Oh, look at the top, the flower with the beads in the middle. it's so gorgeous. It's just so gorgeous. Speechless. Thank you, Rebecca. Little bit of haul. I picked this up. It's Twin Peak Primitives, One Nation Under God. I really love it. And I think her name is the Virginia Stitcher. I'll link her below. I think she just started this. So, I do love it. I will not get this started this year. But it's very pretty. From my Silver Needle Circle of Friends Stitchy Club. I think this would be a fast stitch. This came lovey-dovey. Again, and I've mentioned this before, that little wren drum that I showed earlier is from that same club from last year's version. But it comes, you know, fully kitted. Comes with a little floss tag and all the floss and the fabric. Comes with everything. Everything you need. Really pretty. I might already have this. Here we go again. It's On Pins and Pumpkins by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle. I pulled this out because I think it looks to me like it'd be a fast stitch, but there's another reason too. It's just like a tower finish. But look she put a real pumpkin stem in the top. Now, a couple weeks ago, last week, I was out gardening and I was looking through my gardening bag with all my tools in it. I have some dried out pumpkin stems that I pulled off because they're nice and twirly, curly. Like when I get my pumpkins, I go for what the stem looks like. Then I look at what the pumpkin looks like. I want the stem. So I pull the stems off if they're really good and I save them for things like this. I didn't even know I was being that prepared. This I got from Silkweaver. It's by Sampler Cove. They were doing a Friday night sale. And it's called Back in the Day. Isn't that pretty? Nice sampler. I love band samplers. I just think they're so neat. This is also, who is this by? Oh, it's also Sampler Cove. It's called Bordeaux. And again, like, isn't that so pretty? And then to continue on with the series, I have the first 5 of these. I had Needleworkers Delight order this for me. It's the Jeanette Douglas Blooming Bouquets, and it's number 6, which is Hope. And it's glaring. They all glare, but there, that's a little bit. Isn't that pretty? Number 6, Hopeful. And then I also had them order the silks to go along with it. And then finally, oh, no, not finally, because we know I don't do that. I did get this calendar, not because I needed a calendar. So it's the Primitive Hair 2021 calendar. I didn't need a calendar, but I did get it because there are 12 charts, and the price of it is around $50. But then when you look at the fact that there are 12 designs in it, it's less than $5 each design. So there are a lot of designs in here I would stitch. There are a couple that I'd probably pass on. But look at the cocoa and the pumpkin. Don't think that that's not coming like right into my routine. I love the sun one, the bird, the candles, the maypole. I love them. So So yeah, I mean, each month has its own design. And I was like, you know what? When you break it down, that's economical. Plus, I got it from Needleworkers Delight. And because I'm a member of their Savers Club, I get 25% off. And then if they're running a sale, they give me an extra 5%. So I bought that during a sale. So I got 30% off of that. The club membership fee pays for itself, like, at least in my world. I did get... You know what? I might have you guys vote on what I should start next, because I'm obviously jonesing for autumn, and it's another Twin Peak Primitives. It's called Legend of the Fall, and I know. Look. Quilts and barns and foliage. I actually got this one to do for Darren. Well, maybe I'll just do it for me. Who knows? I don't think Darren... I think he wants the dragon cross stitch. It's called... You know, he has his makeshift observatory up in the backyard. And this is called Astronomer's Gate. So, it is really cool. It's by Whispered in the Wind. And they have a series that are all kind of in the same color palette and the same... look. They're different designs, but I think they're really neat looking. I really like them. Look, here's a picture of some of the others. Right, so maybe I could do that one for him with the gargoyle. Barb, the gargoyle is back. And if some of you are saying, what's so with the gargoyle? A while back, before Leanne passed away, we had a little kind of running joke about me sitting on the window, peering into their maze like a little gargoyle. And then I bought this one to do for Darren as well. I really do like it. It's Tiny Modernist. Moon phase belt. So, you know, we're big. We're big about NASA and stars and moons in our house. And space. We love the space program. So it's the moon phases. And then it might be hard. Oh, there you go. You can see it's stitched on dark fabric, but there's a silhouette of trees. It just, to me, it just like, I loved all of this and I saw that and it just sucked me right in. So that's some of the haul. I had more haul. I'm not going to show it all. That's some of the stuff that I'm pulling out. That looks good to me right now. I'll do shout outs with my sunglasses on because I find these people to be groovy. What's that? All right. Wait till I do one of these at night and I have sunglasses on. And then I can break into Corey Hart. I wear my sunglasses at night. Stupid. Okay. Here are the groovy people that I found. Elizabeth is her name, and her channel name is Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. And she's really cute. I mean, she's... Okay, so here's the thing. She's very cute. I think she's pretty new to stitching. And she just seems like a really sweet person. And then she says in her first video, she's like, yeah, I'm an engineer and we do a lot of space work. So I was like, space work? Stitching? We were meant to be friends. So, but I really enjoy her channel and she's got a really cute cat and she's a delight to watch. Then I mentioned the Virginia Stitcher. She stitches you know, excuse me. She stitches a lot on Ada. And, you know, I'm a linen stitcher. But now I'm like, you know, the Aida that they make now, compared to when I first started stitching, it's comparable. It's equally as beautiful. And in some cases, a lot easier, in a lot of cases, especially with dark fabric, easier to stitch on. I guess I moved away from Aida and I never really thought about moving back to it. But I think for some darker things, I'm going to start moving back to like 18 count so that it's small enough to still, not comply, to align with my personal aesthetic. But I think you're going to see me starting to stitch on Aida, especially when fabrics are dark. And that's because she just shows so many wonderful things. My friend Dee as well stitches on Aida. And like, I'm starting to not really see that much of a difference, other than you can see the holes in the fabric for Aida. And it may be a little more tricky to navigate if you have like quarter stitches and half stitches, but most of the stuff I do does not have that. Most of the stuff. Not everything, most. So there's that. So that's the Virginia Stitcher. And then finally, he's got a new channel out, is Chris Cross Stitch. I'll link him below. He's hilarious and super groovy, and I just really enjoy his channel. He's newer to cross stitch, or has returned to cross stitch. I think he stitched when he was young. Yeah, he did, because in his videos he showed some things that he first stitched on. But I think he's just returning to it. And I think he lives in California, but he grew up in Alabama. And he has these anecdotes and stories that I'm the one, Chris, who practically spit out her coffee when you were talking about the red flag. So he was talking about, you have to go watch his video because I can't do it justice. But he's talking about this chart, and it's called red flag. It's because there's a red flag on the mailbox, and the flag is up to come and get the mail. But he's like, give it to your ex, because they're the ones who sent you all the red flags. I was trying to like not spit out my coffee or have it come out my nose at the time, because I roared at that. But he talks about, like, first of all, and he'll throw these like southern anecdotes in, you know, like faster than you can spit on a floor. And it's just, you'll love him. You'll love him. He's hysterical. He's so funny. And he's a beautiful stitcher. So you're getting everything in one package. Okay, so those are the groovy people that I found this week. There are more groovy people out there, and I will continue to find you. Sounds kind of stalkerish, didn't it? Because I'm a slacker and I'm late, as always. The moment just passed by. Nonetheless, I would like to give this away. So I ordered something from Needle Case Goodies. I will link her below, her Etsy shop below. Her name is Nancy. And she accidentally sent me the wrong chart. So when I contacted her, in typical Nancy gracious fashion, she said, keep it and pass it on. And so that's what I'm going to do. Now, again, I know I'm late because this should have been going out like at the end of May, beginning of June, so that you had a chance to stitch it for 4th of July. But, so the chart that I received in error is Threadwork Primitives, Patriotic Rose. And so if you would like to stitch this, then just use the word rose in a comment. A rose by any other name still smells sweet. So that is, I used to sort of do like manual tracking of who wanted what and blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to use comment picker. So use the word rose, R-O-S-E. The other thing, now listen, I will ship this anywhere in the world. So if you're an expatriate, no worries, I'll send it to you. If you look at that and you say, yeah, I'm not American, no interest. But if you look at that and say, hey, I could change those flags to a French flag, or Canadian flag, or a German flag, or South African flag, or whatever, and you can change the... Listen, it doesn't have to be... It's not limited to the U.S., I guess is what I'm saying. Wherever you are, whatever you want to do with it, if you want it, I will send it to you. So, just say the word rose. One of the things I will include, and if you win and I reach out to you and you don't want these, tell me and I will pass them on to someone else. But I did make some floss tags on a floss ring. They're just little, they are red, white, and blue, but they're not specific to America. They're just pretty summer tags with pinwheels, and there are some floral ones in here, red, white, and blue floral. Yeah, I mean, I kind of gave them their patriotic colors, but I will include that with the chart. So it's this kind of dealio. All right, so that's it. Let's sign off. Ringo, you know I love you. I hope you have a great rest of your July. Again, oh, giveaway. You have to be 18. Don't say giveaway. Don't say prize. Don't say winner. Just say the word rose in a comment. I will close this. Today is the 10th. I will close this at midnight on the 17th. So that gives you, no, I'm not closing it on the 17th. I'm closing it on the 24th because I want to give people ample time to watch the video. Let's look at the calendar, shall we? Yes. I will close it on Saturday the 24th at midnight. So any comments that come in after that date will not be eligible, or after that date and time will not be eligible. But if you would like this, go ahead and just comment below. I don't care if you just write one word. Rose. Done. Done. See, that's efficiency in my mind. Yeah. So there's that. I'll close that on the 24th. And I hope you have a really great rest of the month. I hope to see you again in August. And I hope things are just going great. If you're vaccinated and able to get out there, I hope you're enjoying re-emerging into the world. And personally, I'm conflicted. I'm vaccinated. I can go out. But I don't want to. I'm going to have to. The thing is, I'll go out for stitching stuff, but everything else, no. Okay, I'm rambling. Oh! One more thing. See? I knew I would forget. I did quilt. I did do a quilt for Darren's niece. I call her my niece too, because she really kind of is. She's going off to college next month, late August. And for her high school graduation, I made a quilt. And I'll insert a picture here. It is, I bought the fabric. It's Jack Skellington fabric. So I got some fabric from there. I got some fabric from some online shops, and used a pattern that I purchased from Jordan Fabrics, and then sent it out to Missouri Star Quilt Company. And I'm telling you what, if you quilt and you don't have a long armor, you don't want to be bothered with doing the long arm quilting portion, there are companies out there. I know Primitive Gatherings, I think, also does it. But I went online. I went to Missouri Star Quilt Company. Okay, so my iPad ran out of space. And you're saying, now what's going on here? I was loading my video onto my computer to edit. And while that was going on, I ran out to do some errands. And I had the sunroof open, so this is windblown curly look. In any event, I have my sunglasses on because I washed my makeup off. So you don't want to see that. But I was talking about the quilt. I sent it out to Missouri Star Quilt Company. I paid an extra, I think it was $25 for a rush job. By the time that between the time that I sent it to them, and there was a holiday in this. I sent it to them. They received it, quilted it, and got it back to me. It was like 10 days. And I did get the quilt back before I even got the shipping notification that it was coming back. So it's just a recommendation or an option for you if you decide that you don't want to quilt something yourself, that you want to send it out. Okay. I'm wrapping this up because this is a mess. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I really look crazy. I really appreciate your friendship and your time, and look forward to seeing your comments. And don't forget to enter the magic word rose for a chance at the giveaway. But yeah, I hope you have a great rest of the month, a great August, and I will see you again soon. Peace.